Hi, Clint Coons here with Anderson Business Advisors, and in this segment, I'm going to discuss building credit for your limited liability company or corporation. You know, I run into people a lot at my workshops that come up to me and they say, Clint, I've signed up with this credit company that's going to help me create a business credit profile for my LLC or my corporation, and then I'm going to be able to go out there and buy real estate, and I won't need to sign personally on any of those loans. And so, do you think it's a good idea that I paid them $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to do this? Now, you can probably imagine what my answer might be. Hell no, I don't think it's a great idea. Why don't I think it's a great idea? It's plain and simple. I've had my business set up for 19 years, and I've found a lot of success in my business. I've never yet been able to buy a piece of property where they don't pull my personal credit profile. That if it's a residential mortgage that I don't have to sign personally. Yes, if you're going to go out there and you're going to obtain a non-recourse mortgage, granted, in those situations, you don't have to sign personally, so it's not an issue. It has nothing to do with your business credit profile. But the idea that you're going to create this credit history for a company, and I have a credit history of 19 years for my business, never had a loss, always been profitable. That still has never helped me obtain a residential mortgage and not have to sign personally on it. So the point is that if you think you're going to build this up and you're going to be able to buy real estate, it's not going to happen. It just won't occur for you. So this concept that people sell individuals about building business credit for their LLC, and I'm probably going to get some hate comments on this, people that sell it, that they say Clint doesn't know what he's talking about, but I challenge you to show me where that ever happens, because I've never seen it and none of my clients have never been able to do it. So don't buy it with that in mind, or don't invest into building business credit for your LLC or your corporation with the idea in mind that you're going to be able to take down a $200,000 property, not sign personally, it's not going to hit your credit profile. As I stated, the only time that's going to occur is if you're getting non-recourse financing. But then again, they're still going to run your credit to see if you're credit worthy, even though they're not going to make you sign personally. And B, a lot of times with those types of loans, in order to qualify them, you have to show you're an experienced investor. I mean, I have those types of loans in my portfolio, and they want to know, how many properties I own, how long I've been investing for. So they know they're not starting out with someone that has relatively no experience or low experience, and then their potential loan is going to be in jeopardy 2 years down the road because you mismanaged the properties. So when it comes to it, when should you actually consider building business credit? Well, for trade lines, and this is where I think it could be beneficial to you. So if you have a company and you want to generate trade lines where you don't have to sign personally, then it makes a lot of sense to start looking at building up a credit profile for that business. So let's say you had a corporation. This is where I think would make most beneficial sense for anybody in the real estate. Building up a credit line with Home Depot, Lowe's, paint companies, other suppliers is a great thing to do, because then again, it doesn't require you to give a personal guarantee on that. It goes right to your corporation. They're not going to look at your credit. You can maybe go out there and find some loans from small loans from institutions that will actually give you a business line of credit. That they may not require your personal credit on. Again, those are harder to obtain. You better have a good working relationship with the bank in order to get one of those. But they're also going to, again, look at your business credit profile. So what does it take to set up a business credit profile and build it? It doesn't require a lot. I mean, yes, you can hire someone to help you along through that process. And if you're one of those, you're like me, you'd rather have somebody else do it for you, great, go ahead and do that. If you want to do it yourself, it starts off with getting a DUNS number, right, for your business. So once you have your DUNS, which is Dun & Bradstreet number, associated with your business, then you want to start taking out credit cards in the name of that business. You want to open up some accounts in the name of that business to start reporting back to that credit number. So you begin building your overall credit profile for your company. When you're doing that, though, keep in mind that your business cannot be set up in a state that offers anonymity. That is, you're going to have to be on that company. So if you have this corporation set up, don't use Nevada, Delaware, or Wyoming. Typically, if you live in, say, Florida or Texas or Oregon, set it up there, and your name will be associated with it, because what they'll do is they'll look back to the Secretary of State's website to see if the person who is applying for this is actually listed as an officer or director of that company. Once you've done that and you've started that process, then it's going to give you the ability then to go out there and maybe get some larger lines, not have to sign personally and get your name off there. So now you'll have access to suppliers, and that could really benefit you. But again, this concept of I'm going to be able to buy real estate all over the country, never have to sign personally. They're just going to look at my company's credit profile. It's not going to work. It's never happened for me. It's never happened for my clients. The only time it sets up that way is if they're using loans that are structured in a way where that was never going to be required anyway, and it doesn't matter if you had a DUNS number or a business credit profile, you still would have got that loan. One last thing I'd like to hit on that is that, when it comes to your business, something I tell people a lot is if you have an entity set up here, what you should do, let's say this is my corp, and it doesn't have to be a corporation, this could be a limited liability company, I'm just going to use a corp. If I had this corp here, you should get some credit cards in the name of your corporation. I would get an Amex in the name of my corporation. I would get a Visa. A couple companies that I know of is Wells Fargo, B of A, Chase. These three companies, if you get these are business cards, by the way. You get a business card in the name of this company. Now, when you apply for the business card, you're going to have to give them your personal credit. You're going to sign a personal guarantee for these cards. So that is something you're not going to get away from. But by taking out the cards in the name of your business, these companies then that you've taken out these cards under the name of the business, they report back to the business and not to your personal credit. Now, this is important. In running my business here, all of the filing fees for our clients and setting up their LLCs and corporations, we run on a card that I opened up with Chase a number of years ago. And it is my personal credit they use in order to determine the credit limit on that card. And so when I needed to extend it from $75,000 to $125,000, they actually reran my credit. And so, I do take that hit when they run the credit. But each and every month, let's assume that the balance, we run $95,000 in filing fees for our clients. That does not show up on my personal credit. So when I go in, I apply for a loan, they don't see that there's this Chase card out there in the name of my business that I'm a personal guarantee on, because Chase reports back to the business credit, not to Clint's credit. So if you're starting out your business, or maybe you've been in business for a while and you're using your personal cards, to pay for things that are business related, stop, because that's only hurting your personal credit. Get out there, get some business cards established in the name of your corporation or your limited liability company, and start running those charges on those cards, not on your personal cards. They all come with the same bells and whistles, the points and all that you can use. But it'll save your personal credit. And so that's something that I've found. These are the cards actually that I carry. I don't carry the Wells Fargo, but I have the B of A Visa, I have the Chase Visa, and I have an American Express. And it's really helped me on the personal side with my personal financing on doing my own personal real estate deals. My name is Clint Coons with Anderson Business Advisors. This is what we talked about, was building business credit for your business.